All right, so the stolen generation has definitely impacted the health of Indigenous Australians in terms of affecting their emotional status by causing them to go into a massive emotional stress. Now, the stolen generation occurred during the early 19th century up until 1960. What happened was the children were taken away from their families and were thrown into foster homes where they were sexually, physically, and emotionally abused. That's where the massive amounts of emotional distress come in. So the emotional distress levels of people aged over 55 that are Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander occur 20 to 30%, whereas in non-Indigenous Australians, only 15% of emotional distress is recorded. Also, growing up in foster homes causes for delinquent behaviour and increased amount of emergency visits. This is added on top of the abuse that is already occurring being in these foster homes. So health needs for Indigenous Australians include schooling and accessibility for rural Aboriginals. So between the ages of 15 and 17, a total of 51% of individuals that are Indigenous Australians have attended school. Only 51% have attended some form of school or education during their whole life. Only 40% of people are going to high school. Now, this can be due to low accessibility. Reasons for this could be travel. And so the travel could be too costly, it could take too much time, and it could be an inconvenience. The inconvenience as well can relate to being Aboriginal. They're more than likely going to be living on farmland, needing to farm to make money if they're living rural. Another health need is diabetes. So Aboriginals are already 3 times more likely to get some form of diabetes at some point in their life than non-Indigenous Australians. Especially for people in remote areas, it is already more prevalent in remote areas, and ways to prevent this are lifestyle factors, such things as a good diet and exercise. However, Aboriginal Australians have reported to only be active, moderately active. 29% of the population reported to be active, where 61% of the Indigenous population have reported being physically inactive. This includes very high sedentary lifestyle and very low physical activity levels. Ways that they can change this is to try and complete 30 minutes of moderate exercise a day. This will change their health status immensely and improve their quality of life. So professional care needed. So Australia began to train GPs in rural Australia. This was to close the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. So things like improving their quality of life, which will in turn increase their life expectancy, and things to decrease their levels of or rates of cardiovascular disease and stroke levels. Also, in 2012, nurses and Aboriginal health workers experienced firsthand the rates of diabetes in rural areas. So they've gone out there, they've seen what's going on, as well as the GPs, which is a much better understanding of what is going on out there. As well as that, it gives them that more interpersonal relationship and builds rapport between the client and the person that is trying to do good by them and trying to make them better.